On today's show is a candidate for state senator in the new 14th district, Sue Shink. Hi, Sue.
Hi there, Bart.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
And I know you've spent some time, quite a bit of time in Jackson, because we have a new Senate district. And let's talk a little bit about that. So voters in Jackson County will have a whole bunch of new names, and they'll see a whole bunch of new numbers. And for all of Jackson, almost all of Jackson County, not all of Jackson County, all but 4 townships, 4 western townships are not in this district, but all the rest of Jackson County, including the city of Jackson, and about half of Washtenaw County is what makes up the new 14th district. So that'll be unique for everyone. We'll have a new district name, Senate District 14, and we have a primary. We've got 3 Democrats running and a Republican, I believe, unopposed next month. So tell us a little bit about you and your background and your interest in representing this new district as senator.
Well, thank you. I have actually been spending a lot of time at the Jackson Coffee Company, by the way, as I've been campaigning, so it's a great spot. I live just north of Ann Arbor in Washtenaw County in Northfield Township. And I moved with my family there about 20 years ago because I wanted to live on a small farm and grow our own food, which we did for many years until I got more involved in politics. I found that we had some issues that our township government wasn't addressing, and I became the voice for our group. And out of that, I ended up serving as a township trustee. I was elected, served for 4 years along on a bipartisan slate, which was a wonderful experience, and then focused on just volunteering and raising my family for a number of years. Got involved in county politics in 2019. I became county commissioner for District 2, and then I've been serving as chair of the board for the last 1.5 years, so during the pandemic.
So your position in Washtenaw County is, well, it's the same that Jim Shotwell has here in Jackson County, chair of the Board of Commissioners. So you've been in elective office for 4 or 5 years then?
Well, for about 7.5 years total, and it'll have been 8 years by the time my term as county commissioner ends at the end of this year.
Now, you said you've been spending some time in Jackson. I know you're a candidate for him last week at Vista Grand Villa.
Right.
And tonight I have a flyer that says you are going to be at a meet and greet event.
Right, we're hosting a meet and greet at Lean Rocket Lab just in case people want to come by and meet me and hear what I have to say and tell me what they want me to know, because as I've been running, I've been making a long list of to-dos for when I get into the Senate so that I can serve this community.
So this is, because it's a new district with redistricting, we'll have all new House, all new U.S. Congress. We even have Jackson County and City with changes in boundaries.
Right.
Our history here in the last 10 years was we've been part of, Jackson County has been part of one Senate district along with Branch and Hillsdale County, represented by Mike Shirkey. He's term limited, he's not running, and we have the new district. Having this district combined with half of Washtenaw County, what are the challenges as a potential senator in representing 2 very distinct and different counties and communities?
I think it all comes down to respect and listening. So when I listen to the people in Jackson County, I know what the people of Jackson County need. And it's really not that different from what people are asking for in Washtenaw County, which is to have a representative who will listen, understand the issues, give voice to their concerns, and try to get things done to solve the challenges that face us. Jackson is an incredible manufacturing powerhouse. Washtenaw County has a lot of tech capability, and together in a tighter relationship, I can see us doing even more amazing things.
Now, 4 years ago when we would talk to candidates running for office, asking them the #1 issue, without exception, everyone said roads. Well, no one's saying that now. Obviously, it's an ongoing issue, but it's not at the top of anyone's list. What is at the top of your list?
Yeah, so the roads aren't really much better than they had been. There's been some investment, but not much. The problem is that now we're looking at preserving our voting rights, the rights of people to make their own medical decisions, including getting an abortion, the civil rights of LGBTQ plus people. Those are issues right now. And then there's gun safety. People want to know that they can go places and be safe.
So let's talk about each of those. With the tragedies in Uvalde and here in Michigan and Oxford, what can the state, what should the state do about keeping our kids safe in schools and shoppers in the mall and everyone else?
Right, well, it's interesting. We hear on much of the media that Republicans don't support common sense gun laws, but when I'm out in the community talking with Democrats or people who identify as Republican, I hear that everybody cares about gun safety. And people support common sense gun laws like red flag laws, better background checks, keeping the hands out of people that are known to be violent, and restricting and banning assault weapons.
So without, unless who knows what's going to happen, whether the Democrats or Republicans have majority in the Senate, if we don't have Republicans supporting red flag gun laws and any other type of gun reform, what can be done without a majority in the Senate?
So it'll be tough without a majority, because we've already seen that Democrats have brought up legislation to achieve those things, and the Republicans have just flat out said no. So this seat is actually the key to having a majority in the Senate. If we win this, we should have a Democratic majority, and we will be able to pass these common sense gun laws. If we don't have a majority in the House, it still helps to have a majority in the Senate, because the Senate can propose legislation, the House has to take it up.
Yeah, so as this new district is formed, and the idea behind redistricting is to have fairness, it does appear that this district now leans slightly blue, left,
right.
Democratic. So there is potential that the Democrat could win. Let's talk about the campaign for the primary. You're running against two other candidates, Valerie Cochran-Toup and Kelsey Heck Woods. What would you say are the differences between you and those two Democratic challengers, Sue?
Yeah, so I've been serving the community for over 20 years and have a long track record of getting things done. Finding out who's involved in an issue, who can we bring together, finding out what are the steps we need to put in place to get to the solution that we're all looking for. And so that track record goes back a long way. I've done it around land preservation, getting our climate action going, addressing gun violence. There's so much more, investing in the community. And I show up, and I don't quit. When the going gets tough, I keep going.
Another one of the top issues that you mentioned, reproductive rights. Governor Whitmer has asked the Supreme Court to rule whether the right to have an abortion is protected in the state constitution. We could very likely have a question on the November ballot.
Right.
But aside from that, what is your stance on women's reproductive rights in the state of Michigan?
Right. Those kinds of decisions are between a person and themselves or whoever they feel like talking to. The government does not fit in a doctor's office. And I will fight for women's rights, for people's rights to have an abortion.
You mentioned you came into the chairmanship of the Board of Commissioners in Washtenaw County at the start of the pandemic.
Right.
Healthcare, access to healthcare, equity in healthcare delivery in the state. What can the legislature do in terms of making sure everybody has equal access to healthcare?
Right, so in Washtenaw County, we actually have something called the Washtenaw Health Plan that really makes it so that everybody in Washtenaw County basically has health insurance, whether they can afford it or not. We've also started things, mobile units that go out into the community and provide healthcare services. We have also hired people called Trusted Community Advisors who are from the communities the health department serves, and they act as a liaison Those are all things that the state can do and that I believe the state would do if we had a majority.
The economy also, huge topic with last month's release of the consumer prices, 9% in June. With the state's economy, what can the legislature and you as a state senator do to ensure that that people can afford a lifestyle here in the state?
Right, well, it's a complex issue, obviously. I think that we need to make sure that people are paid a fair wage and that we're supporting our businesses through this economic time to make sure that they have what they need to succeed, along with the people who frequent those businesses and serve as employees. The state has been working to make sure that people have access to job retraining programs, to make sure that they have access to better opportunities. And so that's something that I support. I serve on the board of Michigan Works Southeast, which also serves Jackson County, and we have found that a lot of people are looking for better opportunities.
Yeah, so with the state budget being passed by the House and Senate, the governor's not yet signed it, and it's a mystery right now. We don't know what the legislature's passed.
Right.
But we have heard that there's an awful lot of dollars spent as earmarks, pet projects in districts all over the state, but still there's $2 billion at least that is not allocated from COVID money. Is that money should we be sitting on that, or should it be being spent?
We should be investing that in our state. I think it's tragic when you have people falling through the sidewalk on their way to a Tigers game, that there's billions of dollars sitting there that could at the very least be invested in our roads. But we've got education and we have child care. Those things need investment too. People are struggling because expenses are too high, and our state could be helping out the people in a way that the Republican legislature is choosing not to do.
In your new 14th Senate District, you have Consumers Energy's headquarters. Consumers has been making some announcements this summer that they're improving and increasing their road to coal-free and cleaner energy. At the same time, we have Enbridge and the governor and the DNR at odds as to whether the Line 5 across the Straits of Mackinac should be shut down. What's your stance on the environment and energy?
Yeah, I was really glad to see that Consumers was taking those steps to reduce its dependence on coal. It will actually be the greenest investor-owned utility in the entire country, which is awesome. In terms of Line 5, investing that kind of money in fossil fuels at this moment and risking the health of our lakes doesn't make a lot of sense. And so I would like to find another way to get our power renewables. That's the key. We need to invest in that, invest in our workers so that they have good jobs, bringing about a green transition.
Got a couple of jobs issues here in Jackson County, and I'm sure it's the same in Washtenaw. We've got employers that can't find people, school districts that can't find teachers.
Right.
And some employers are saying we just aren't, as a state, we aren't educating a workforce to be ready to work. What can you do?
Well, I know that in many fields, there's loan forgiveness based on need for people to go into those fields. Mm-hmm. So for lawyers, if you go into public service, you can get your loan forgiven after 10 years in that public service field. And we can do the same things with teachers, with nurses, with child care workers to encourage people to enter those fields where we have shortages now.
With teachers in particular, as we see school districts struggling to get teachers, are there some things that we could be doing to improve the situation for a potential teacher?
What I'm hearing from teachers is that COVID has been really difficult. I think we're probably through that phase where we're spending a lot of time online. I sure hope so. It's been hard on my child. The other thing is that teachers say they need to be able to earn more money to live in the communities where they teach. So that's an issue. They need more support for supplies. So that means bigger budgets for our school systems. Right now, most school systems are funded at half the rate they were when I was a child.
when you look at the candidates on the Democratic ballot in terms of experience in office, you've got the most in terms of years. But as far as accomplishments, can you give us an idea of what you've done as chair of the Washtenaw County Board of Commissioners?
Sure. We have a nationally recognized land preservation for farmers and natural areas program. And during the pandemic, the natural areas doubled their attendance. And so that was a real boon for mental health. Mm-hmm. We've kept our border-to-border trail construction going through the pandemic so that people have access again to a different kind of recreation trails. Got money allocated and a build out is happening to provide high-speed internet to every single household in our entire county, and we have a fund to support those who cannot afford it. We also started child savings accounts to double the number of children who are graduating from high school and attending trade school or college among those who would not have otherwise done so. We also just invested $1.65 million in data-supported efforts to address gun violence in our county. And we expect the numbers of gun violence incidents to reduce by at least half. It's not perfect, but it's a big step forward. Also got our climate action plan going. It wouldn't happen without me.
Jackson and Washtenaw counties have competed for investment, plants, jobs. We, steal each other's employees. We have some evidence of cooperation, though, e.g. as part of SPARK. You mentioned Michigan Works Southeast, which includes Washtenaw and Jackson County. As a potential representative of 2 counties in the Senate, are there other ways that Washtenaw and Jackson can work together for the betterment of citizens in both counties? Of
course there are, right? So I pledge to serve the residents of Jackson County as well as the residents of Washtenaw County. I've been meeting with people, hearing people's concerns, and I am ready to act on them. It's my belief that working together, can achieve so much together. When I look at Jackson and its history as a manufacturing powerhouse, and we look at the tech capabilities in Washtenaw County, where we don't have the same level of manufacturing capability, we can partner and we can do great things. I've been talking with Paul Krutko, the leader of SPARK. I'm on the SPARK board, about how we can partner. He's really excited about it. And I know that from talking with other people, including in the space industry, that there's just an incredible amount of potential for growth. So living on a farm, are you raising your own produce and animals? For about 15 years we did. We produced our own meat, milk, and eggs and sold a whole bunch along with body care products, so very small business. But with the intensity of participation in politics, in serving the public at this point, I don't really have time for a lot of that. So we have some old goats, we've got some chickens and ducks, they lay eggs for us, and some horses. So farming's 24/7, 365 profession. Is politics even more? It's pretty much about that too. So yeah, but all that practice in farming, getting up in the middle of the night just to do whatever it was that needed to be done to be sure that my animals were okay, that same work ethic goes into serving my community. No excuses, we're going to get the work done. Outside of your campaign and your duties in office, tell us a little bit about life outside, a little bit about your personal interests and family. Yeah, so since March, when I threw my hat into the ring for this race, I haven't done much other than campaign, but I really enjoy meeting people and getting to know them, and so that's just been amazing. And I've been spending a lot of time doing that. I also love to ride my bike, go swimming, kayaking, just really spend time outside. And if people want to meet you in person, you've got the event tonight. Right. Is that open? It's open to the public. It's absolutely free. We'll have coffee and refreshments. And then I'm going to be at the Southside Summerfest next weekend at Elnora Mormon Park. All right, and that meet and greet tonight is at the Lean Rocket Lab from 5 till 7 downtown. Well, we appreciate your time today. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, thank you so much. It was really fun to talk to you. Yeah, nice to see you. Thanks so much. Good luck. Candidate for State Senate, the new 14th District, Sue Shink.